right now. It's about 11:30 or so in the morning. And I'm standing underneath this little umbrella tree. Put Chevrolet. But anyway, just a very light rain so far.
What are you waiting for?
Well, we're waiting for Hurricane Hanna.
Okay.
It's supposed to be hitting somewhere around 4 or 5 this afternoon, I think. We have a little gust every now and then that might be 35, 40 miles an hour, you know, but it's not too bad because normally when we have cold fronts that blow in, it's much stronger than this. So we've ridden out quite a few hurricanes in our lifetime. So, you know, we know when it's time to run. So, but as long as there's no tornadoes, we're good to go. This will be just good rain here.
So you're going to be our weatherman and we'll check back in a few hours?
Yeah, we'll give you an update after a while.
Alrighty.
Yeah, we were just standing here and then all of a sudden, boom, electricity went out. I thought, oh Lord, and then about 2 seconds later it popped back up. So we're still good. It's still not bad.
Okay. On Hurricane Watch Day, we're going to have a little hurricane soup. This is hamburger soup with lots of veggies in it. It has potatoes and carrots and green beans and corn and tomatoes and the hamburger meat. And so that's what we're going to have for our Hurricane Watch. Hamburger soup. So you're taking a little break from hurricane watching?
Yeah, I'm going to have me a little bit of hurricane soup.
Okay.
And thought I might have some hurricane cornbread, but I'm going to have me some hurricane crackers.
Show me your crackers.
These are called salad deep dips. These are individually, there's like 3 of them in a packet. Oh, so crispy, so good. These are really good if you can find them.
They beat, what's that, Nabisco?
Nabisco? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. These are delicious, I must admit.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to take a little break and have something to eat and then back to hurricane watching, right?
Yep.
All righty.
So that's, I don't know what that necessarily means, but it probably means that it's strengthening a little bit, getting more confined.
Foul. We're probably over here. Huh?
Up, run over to the left where that yellow line
He
is.
kept moving.
77 is.
Here, the western edge of
He just keeps moving it.
or the center of the eye. The western edge of the eye wall. It doesn't look like it's
We are right there.
And it's projected hitting Kennedy County. Point that out.
It's going to hit down here.
Well, that looks like far away, but it's not. It's only
That right
like
there is about
5
8
miles.
to 10 miles.
Yeah.
It's still 30 from landfall, from the middle of the
All
eye.
righty.
When, you know,
Mr. Weatherman, you did a fine job.
Had some good gust a while ago. We
We-
can go out and check it out.
All right.
broke a limb up in that oak tree. Broke a limb up there in that oak tree. Yeah. Up at the top. I was looking down on it. Well, I think we're right at the northern edge of this little hurricane. Hadn't done much around here. We had a few gusts, maybe 50, 55 miles an hour. Wasn't too bad so far.
It's about what, 2:30 in the afternoon or something?
Yeah, well, yeah, almost 3 o'clock. And I was looking on the radar. It looks like I can start to see some of the land where the edge of the eye is striking down below us, probably 20 miles, 25 miles south of us. Maybe even further than that. 30 miles or so, the center of the eye will probably go over the top of that. So we're right at the edge. If it's a 40-mile eye, if that, then we're right at the very edge of it, and it's been very mild.
The footage that we've already filmed may be all we get.
Yeah. I mean, it's been raining, but not hard torrential rains. Nothing like I thought it would be. Now, probably later on tonight and all, and tomorrow we'll probably get more rain because of all those big bands coming in out of the north and out of the Gulf. But
We do have the window open, and we tried filming so that you could see through to the backyard, but the light just wasn't working for
yeah,
us.
the
But
background light wasn't.
I just wanted to say that neither one of us are new to hurricanes. Of course, George grew up here, right here on the Gulf Coast. You know, he probably remembers as many as I do. I grew up on the Gulf Coast on the other side over there. And it was just a thing growing up. You just knew what to do when a hurricane was coming. I don't ever recall us leaving. You know, we stayed it out. Did y'all ever leave? Not us,
no.
not me and you, but
No.
when you were growing up.
No, we always stayed it out. You know.
Now, one time,
We did leave at one time. I think it was like in '86, something like that. I think it was Hurricane Gilbert or something to that effect came in. It was supposed to be one of the most deadliest hurricanes coming in, and it had a dead eye right for us. And
we packed up and moved to San Antonio
yeah, well, we went to
with our granny and our kids.
yeah, it was in New Braunfels.
Yes, but it's
It's
right by
just
San
north of
Antonio.
San Antonio, and we stayed at a
What's this-
resort.
The Slitterbahn Resort. And especially if you're from Texas, you know Slitterbahn is a water park. And it was in October, I believe.
But
and
this was before it was actually called Slitterbahn.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
It was Slitterbahn.
Landa Park.
Okay, well, whatever. It was the same place.
Right,
And
same
it was
people,
closed down for the hurricane, but we walked all through that park. There wasn't any water attractions going on. But remember, we were escaping from here, and we went to San Antonio.
Stayed in a real nice hotel. A friend of my brother's was the ones that owned that place, and so
It was nice. We had I think a suite, like with Granny. It had a living room and a kitchen area with a fireplace, and then like our bedroom had another, you open a door and there's a hot tub sitting right there. It was pretty dang good. And the kids liked it.
yeah.
But on the way back, when we thought it was all clear, we take off and we're listening to the radio coming from San Antonio back home, and we were being surrounded by tornadoes right there in the San Antonio area. So
We ended up running into more problems than we escaped.
I think that's probably the first or the only time
The only
that
time we did
that
that.
we've ever run. And I know, like growing up, we always hunkered it down at home.
Yeah, normally we just board up all the windows and just ride it out. Just you make sure you have enough water.
Well, honey, you think that we'll get enough water in the pond to call it a pond again?
No, not this time.
No? Well, we've lived in this house a long time, about, Jason and Jared will be 35 next month, and I was 6 months pregnant with them when we moved in, so we've been here a really long time. And we've had the pond full, we've had the pond dry. It's dry right now, and I think y'all have seen that on video if you've watched any of our videos. And if you haven't, go subscribe now and watch all of our videos. You don't want to miss a one. We're like a soap opera. We just build on this thing. You know, you got to watch it to know what's coming. And so his grandma used to live in this house, and we sorry, I'm getting distracted, and you're distracting me.
Well, my grandmother
No.
lived out at the old
No, not-
homestead for years, and
Okay.
then, like I said, my dad built her this house, and she moved in to this house, and then when she was no longer living here, then we purchased this from my dad.
We did, and she had, the pond was probably there the whole time she was living here, and we did, before we bought this home, lived in a mobile home right next to
Right, we had
Grandma
purchased a mobile
Crocker.
home and parked it out here.
But this house was built for her by his brother Vern, and a contractor. Vern was very young, and it was a small house, and we added on. But she loved the pond, she loved wildlife, she loved ducks, she loved the pelicans that would come.
Right.
She was a member of the Audubon Society, as far as I
I
know,
think so.
and she went to college after having raised all of her children. I think she had about 6, and
She's a member of the Border Poet Society. She wrote a lot of poetry and a
y'all
lot
know
of
what?
poems. And,
I'm gonna read some of Grandma Crocker's stuff on
well, it
video
just sounded
sometime.
like,
Well, yeah, I always felt like subpar to Grandma Crocker. She was very intelligent, but she wasn't really a gushy, emotional, loving person. But I knew she loved me, you know,
Oh, yeah.
just the same. I knew she did, and she saw a lot in her lifetime. She came from Oklahoma, and she came down in a covered wagon, I believe is the story I heard.
yeah, rode down a covered wagon and her team of ox pulling it down. And said they had their fights with the Indians and things like that on the way down.
That is so
And
cool.
crossing all the rivers and all the hazards coming down all this way, 1,000 miles just about, and
Look,
they came down to this little town, and her last name was Hallmark.
like the cards.
Yes, and
No, we didn't get any money from Hallmark.
anyway, her dad was the first justice of the peace here in this area.
You were destined to be a
Yeah.
law-keeping
I guess.
person, weren't you?
And anyway, my dad came down with his family about a few years before that, and they settled out at the ranch area that we have. And he didn't live in the area that Jason and us went down and
Did the challenge.
redid the the 100 Ranch Challenge thing. And that's we had 2 separate areas, and that one's a different one that belongs to us down there. My brothers and I, and now then Jason. But the North Ranch, which belonged to my grandmother and my dad's siblings and things like that. Well, they ended up selling all their portions and stuff. That's why we have ours. And we did sell off a couple hundred acres to some friends of ours up here. But anyway,
Well, old Grandma Crocker saw a bunch in her lifetime. She went from covered wagons to, well, she died
landing on the moon and
died in the 90s, I guess. So
Yeah.
she saw all the computer stuff,
space shuttle.
everything that any of you watching have experienced in your life. She saw, but she had also seen
All the way back to
the
bows and
Indians.
aerials.
areas.
Bows
So-
and arrows.
She, like I said, she was really one of the coolest people I know. But your dad, I love your dad a lot. He's been gone. Jason and Jared were 18 months old when he passed away, and he was a different guy. He had a good sense of humor, and I got it. I got the sense of humor, and I liked him a lot. And
Yeah.
it was weird. He had some of the same similarities as my dad. They were both weighed about 2 pounds when they were born. Now, I remember my dad was over there in Alabama and your dad was here. and their mothers put handkerchiefs on them for
Right.
diapers and put them
in
in
a shoebox.
a shoebox for their little bed. And when my dad told me that growing up, I mean, I believed it hook, line, and sinker, but you know, after a while, you kind of think, I think he might be pulling my leg. And then I met you and heard the story from your dad. I don't think it's just some story old women made up.
You know, and then
I
they
think it
both
really
ended up
happened.
being close to 6 feet and 200 pounds plus.
They were both very hefty men there for a while, but then, prior to their own deaths, they have both lost a lot of weight and were looking really good. And
Yeah.
but you know, back to the pond, I have enjoyed it so much when it is full. We've had a couple of different piers out there. The one we have now is not the one we've always had. And I would sit out on the pier and tan and read a book and maybe throw a hook in every now and then. And we didn't have the pond stocked for a long time.
No, not then. But the other times that we did, when you sit out there and we had some invasive creatures that were in the pond that were eating our fish, and so she'd sit there on the pier with her little pellet pistol, and she'd be
Pop
popping
those
them
little
left and right.
pests.
You know.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. You know, I hold a book in one hand and hold a little up in the other and get some sun. And we also enjoyed taking we have a teeny little rowboat, and about enough for 2 grown-ups.
It's a 12-foot aluminum boat.
It will hold 3 grown-ups, but it has enough seats for that.
And I got a little 6 horsepower motor on it, but I need to work on the motor. It's not working right now, but we get out there and row around. And
I mean, we'd row, and we had some good times out there.
Old Sam,
Yeah,
the old dog that we had for about 16 years before he died, he used to follow us around out there in the pond, and he looked like a little turtle swimming around out in that pond, and we'd row around and try to pick him up, and he'd get away from us and swim more, and then a little later he'd get tired and come to the boat and want to climb in. So
The wind kicked up a little. That's what I was looking at. But yeah, old Sam. We had him from the time he was probably about 8 weeks old, and he passed away when he was 16 years old. And there was a little meme or something on Pinterest, and it, you know, have you owned a dog for its entire life? Well, yes, we did. It had to stay with its mom a certain amount of time, but other than that,
same thing with Sarge, that we've had him now about 11 years since he was a little pup.
he came straight from his mom.
And we've had Gooby about 8 or 9 years, but he came to us at 2 years old.
Right.
And then Tiki came to us at about 2 or 3 years old, but we've had her now. Well, she's probably about 14 now. So
Tiki doesn't ever get much airtime on the YouTube channel because well, for one, I don't think she ever does anything but
she's a
sleep.
very particular cat. She's a Russian blue and doesn't want anything to do with you unless she wants it. So we just leave her alone.
I've thought about trying to make a video of her, but like she'll lay on our bed for about 3 days straight, and maybe she'll go to the couch, lay on the blanket for about 3 days straight. Not that she gets up and drinks and eats and stuff, but that's where she goes back to sleep, and then she'll find another place. And I just think that would be a very hard video to make, just watching a cat sleep in different places.
Sometimes we'll
Unless
walk
y'all want to
in,
go her in the litter box.
can't find her anywhere, and look up, she's on top of the refrigerator asleep. She'll sleep up there for a few days.
That's one of her favorite spots.
Right. She has a cabinet above our refrigerator that she's always keeping open. I can't keep it shut. She'll get up there and climb inside, look around, and get back out. So that we just leave it hers.
For a while, I had put a blanket in there thinking that she would like it, but it
She
didn't seem
didn't.
to matter.
She would just go in and look around and come out.
Yeah.
Throw a box on the floor though. Oh man.
A
Or a
cat loves
sack.
box.
She'll be in it.
That's right. We do have the pictures I have of Tiki are usually when she's in something, in a box or in something. But,
Cats are that way. She is anyway.
well, you know, this was kind of like going to be our hurricane watch chit chat and all that, and it's just not a whole lot going on right now.
Well, I'm grateful that the hurricane is it hit a very, very
Small population.
small, well, yeah, if any population at all down there in that area, might just be a few hunting cabins and maybe some workers or something out there, but other than that, it hit a pretty desolate area, and it's nothing but just open rangeland and live oak trees and things like that, so it shouldn't do any really physical damage, wind-wise. Might flood a few places, but
Like I said, we do have some footage, and the front porch is wet, so you can't sit out there at all. And the back porch was doing okay, and the wind was blowing the rain in a little closer,
right,
a little
started
closer,
blowing
and
towards
now
us.
now it's all the way wet, so we can't be out there. That's why we're sitting in here doing this. And but I mean, hopefully we'll have something else to report, and we can add on. But if not, y'all.
Well, like I said, hopefully it'll be over here in a few more hours, and
And that means our hurricane watch party is over?
pretty much in a couple hours.
Wait, does the party have to be over?
Well, no, but
Whoop, whoop. Do we look like we're partying or what?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, baby.
mine's watered down Coke.
At least it's Coke Zero. Well, you ready to sign off?
I think so.
Let's tell these folks that please subscribe. And I'm wearing a Crocker shirt, and if y'all don't know who that is, that's our son Jason, which I think everybody knows. All the links to all of our children are down below in the description of every one of our videos. Just click on one, and it'll take you right to their page. Hit the thumbs up, leave us a comment, and even though it looks like we got by the skin of our
dodged a bullet.
teeth, feel free to please drop your hurricane stories in the comments below. I'm sure there are a lot of people on here that live in Texas and over there in the Gulf Coast where I came from, and we definitely could tell probably better hurricane stories than what's happened today, but we're grateful for that, and it is still windy, so you know, we might still get some more good footage.
One little tidbit, back in Hurricane Allen,
Yes.
back in the early 80s.
That's a story.
we had gone out to the ranch and rescued my brother and his wife and the kid, brought them in. We were all at my mom's house, dad's house, and Melanie and I go outside. It was blowing 100 miles an hour, and it was just sheets of rain coming over the top of the house out there like a big old shower. So we got out there and we just showered down.
I was very young. We had not been here very long, and I knew his whole entire family was inside that house, and we just stepped right out onto the little
Back patio.
yeah, and the kitchen window was down here, and I said, they can't see us out of the kitchen window. He said, they're not looking, just shower. But that was a long haul. We all stayed down at your mom's, and that the toilets weren't flushing after a certain point. There was no electricity, and that's how I remember growing up.
Right.
You always prepared. You had your
Fill your
emergency
bathtub
candles.
full of water.
Always that, and had your mom and daddy had their little emergency radio. Of course,
Candles and flashlights. And,
technology is not like it is now, but you still have to prepare the same way.
little transistor radios.
Yes.
Little 9-volt transistor.
Mama had one of those little tiny screen TVs. It was probably not bigger than the phone. And you remember that? I know you do. She had it forever. And anyway, I mean, like, I remember as a child there was one that hit Mississippi, and I want to say that was Celia or something like Cecilia or
Celia hit Corpus.
something like with a C or Camille, Hurricane Camille.
Camille.
And it destroyed that Mississippi Bank area that we went to, and we know what damage they can do.
Yeah, you can kind of
Hear it, maybe.
Hear the wind blowing a little bit. It's probably about 45 miles an hour, maybe. It's not bad. We get those, like I said, with the cold fronts we get, the wind blows 35, 40, 45 miles an hour all the time. So it's not a big deal.
Well, anyway, y'all leave your comments below about any hurricanes or storms you might have weathered, and we'll share our stories that way. So, unless we have something else better to say later.
Yeah, if we're not blown away, we'll see you later.
Adios.
Well, just an update. It's about 7 o'clock in the afternoon. And clouds are still coming in. The wind's still blowing. It's been like this all day. It just won't let up. It's just been continual. I'm just glad it's only been probably an average of about 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, which is great compared to hurricane. But my fence is still up that I can see, so I'm not too worried about that. The pool has got water in it, so I'm not worried about that. Everything's looking good. Got good rains. Probably a couple of inches maybe. I was hoping for more, but from the looks of it, the way it's been acting, if it continues all through the night, we'll probably get quite a bit more. So we don't know what it's going to look like tomorrow. But right now, not too bad. Dodged another one. Thank you, Lord. Well, I'm looking around out here. The dogs are out. Hey there, buddy. Yeah. Stay down now. Down. Are happy, huh? Glad they've been inside the barn. I left it open for them, so they've been there. Sergeant's laying under the tree out here. But now a few limbs grown around, broken off a little bit. Nothing major. It's about 8 o'clock. And the winds are starting to shift around more. They were more from the north. Now that the hurricane is moving further southwest from us, we're starting to get the other side and of the bands. I know at Corpus Christi and them, we're just recording tornadoes up there in the Portland area, north of Corpus Christi. Back over here by it's west of us, close to Alice, Texas. There was some tornadoes that they were reporting over there, or some kind of tornadic activity. We just been having this constant wind like this, just over and over and over. It's what we so otra vez.
It's bending the Chevrolet tree. All the leaves look burnt.
They're beaten. But you guys better go back to the barn before y'all get too wet. Okay?
How much rain you think we may have gotten, though?
Oh no, hang on just a second.
Okay, I will.
Well, looks like we got about 2 inches of rain, which is really nothing.
But we probably got more than that with the wind,
Well,
don't you
with the
think?
wind blowing, yeah, maybe. I wouldn't get much more than that. But not as big of a rainmaker, I believe, is what they were talking about then, which I guess good Lord knows what we need and what we don't. So, anyway, water my grass real good. I know that. Save me on the water bill.
So you just wanted to give them another update before it got dark?
Yeah, just wanted to give you another update. And winds are still blowing about the same, gusting up to, 45 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. It's what they're recording in Corpus too. Say Corpus was getting worse now than they did earlier. So anyway, I guess I'll see y'all.
The day after Hurricane Hanna, as you saw in the videos yesterday, the Chevrolet was being blown pretty good. Looks like it's going to take a while for it to readjust. Lost a few limbs. Everything else seems to look good. I don't see a lot of broken limbs. Let me go around and look a little. Few limbs, some debris. Hear the chainsaw in the background. Somebody must be trying to clean up already. A lot of debris along the fence line. A lot of stuff from the palm tree fell down. Oh, look. A pretty tree. I knew it was top heavy. I think I could probably set it back up and fix it. Just a lot of little debris. Could have been so much worse. The other side of the Schefflera tree, sucker took a beating. Looks like the sun's coming out though. Hello there, how are you? What's up, Tex? You look guilty of something, sir. Have you done something wrong? No? All right.